Listen, if you're over 50 and planning retirement, I don't care if you love your current state or if your kids want you close. I care about one thing, the money you're about to lose to taxes. Thousands every single year, hundreds of thousands over your retirement, quietly drained from your fixed income while politicians spend it on programs you'll never benefit from. And the worst part? Most retirees don't even realize how much they're losing until they're 75 and broke. A retiree couple in a high-tax state can easily pay $15,000 to $30,000 more per decade in state taxes alone than in the states I'm about to show you. That's not a typo. $15,000 to $30,000 every 10 years. Over a 25-year retirement, that's potentially $75,000 to $200,000. That's money that should be going to health care when you need it, travel while you still can, helping your grandkids with college, or simply enjoying the life you worked 40 years to earn. Instead, it's funding someone else's budget hole in a state you're about to leave anyway. I'm Grace Park, and I've watched countless retirees get absolutely crushed by tax burdens they didn't see coming. They retired with what looked like plenty of money, only to discover that state income taxes on their retirement withdrawals, property taxes that doubled every decade, and estate taxes that hit their heirs destroyed 30 to 50% of what they thought they had. But I've also seen the smart ones, the disciplined ones, move to tax-friendly states and keep every penny they earned. They made one strategic move and saved a fortune. If you want to stop taxes from stealing your retirement, smash that subscribe button right now. This channel is about protecting your money through cold, hard truth, not platitudes. At 50 plus, your income is fixed or shrinking. You've got Social Security that barely keeps up with inflation. Maybe a pension if you're lucky. Your 401k and IRA withdrawals that you're required to take whether you need the money or not. None of these income sources grow. Social Security gets tiny cost of living adjustments that never match real inflation. Pensions are frozen. Your retirement accounts are depleting, not growing. Your income is going down while your expenses, especially healthcare, are going up. That's the retirement income squeeze. But you know what doesn't shrink? Taxes. State income taxes keep rising as states scramble to fund unsustainable pension obligations and budget deficits. Property taxes increase every single year as municipalities assess higher values and bump rates. Some states even tax your Social Security benefits, which is money you already paid taxes on when you earned it. Estate and inheritance taxes wait to take a final bite from your heirs after you die. The tax burden never decreases, it only grows. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. You retire at 65 with $750,000 in retirement savings. You're in a high-tax state like New York or California or Illinois. You need to withdraw $40,000 per year to supplement your Social Security and cover living expenses. That state immediately takes $3,000 to $4,000 in state income tax on your withdrawals. Your property taxes on your modest home are $12,000 to $15,000 annually. Over 20 years, you've paid $60,000 to $80,000 just in state income taxes on retirement withdrawals, plus $240,000 to $300,000 in property taxes. That's $300,000 to $380,000 gone to taxes alone. That's half your retirement savings transferred to the government over 2 decades. Now imagine the same scenario in a zero-tax state. No state income tax on your $40,000 annual withdrawal. Property taxes of $3,000 to $5,000 instead of $12,000 to $15,000. Over 20 years, you pay $60,000 to $100,000 in property taxes total. You just saved $240,000 to $280,000 by living in the right state. That's not a luxury. That's the difference between running out of money at 78 versus being comfortable at 90. And I haven't even mentioned estate taxes yet. Some states will take 5 to 15% of everything you leave to your children. If you die with $400,000 in assets in one of these states, your heirs could lose $20,000 to $60,000 just in state estate taxes. In tax-friendly states, they get every penny. Here's what kills me. Most retirees know intellectually that taxes matter, but they don't think strategically about minimizing them. They choose where to retire based on climate or family proximity or some nostalgic connection to a place. Then they act surprised when their carefully saved nest egg evaporates faster than expected because they're in a state that's designed to extract maximum revenue from retirees. Your house stops being an asset and becomes a tax vampire. Every month, every year, it's sucking money out of your accounts, property taxes, state income taxes on the withdrawals you need to pay those property taxes. It's a vicious cycle that destroys wealth. But buy your retirement home in a truly tax-friendly state in 2026, and you keep tens of thousands more. In some cases, over a full retirement, hundreds of thousands more. Your money works for you instead of the government. You can afford better health care. You can travel. You can help your kids and grandkids. You can actually enjoy retirement instead of constantly worrying about money. Now, let me give you my analytical framework for identifying the most tax-friendly states for retirement in 2026. I'm not just looking at one tax category. I'm looking at the complete tax picture through the lens of what matters to retirees specifically. Factor number one is state income tax policy, particularly how the state treats Social Security benefits, pension income, and retirement account withdrawals. Some states have no income tax at all, which is ideal. Some states have income tax but exempt Social Security and pension income. Some states tax everything. For a retiree living on fixed income, this is the most important factor because it determines how much of every dollar you withdraw actually stays in your pocket. Factor number two is property tax levels. Property tax is the silent killer of retirement wealth because it never goes away. You pay it every year for as long as you own the property. High property tax states can charge 2 to 3% of assessed value annually. On a $400,000 home, that's $8,000 to $12,000 per year. Low property tax states charge under 1%. On the same home, that's under $4,000 annually. Over 20 years, that's an $80,000 to $160,000 difference. Factor number three is estate and inheritance taxes. Most people don't think about this until it's too late. If you die in a state with estate taxes, your heirs could lose a substantial chunk of what you're leaving them. 12 states plus DC have estate or inheritance taxes. The other 38 don't. If you care about leaving wealth to your children or grandchildren, this matters enormously. Factor number four is overall tax burden versus cost of living. A state might have low income taxes but sky-high property taxes and expensive everything. You save on one category but lose on others. I want states where the total tax burden is low and the cost of living remains reasonable. This ensures that the tax savings translate into real purchasing power for your fixed income. Factor number five is migration trends and property appreciation in 2026. Are retirees flooding into the state because of the tax advantages? Are wealthy people establishing residency there? This matters because it drives demand for housing, which supports property values. You want a state where low taxes are attracting capital and people, creating a virtuous cycle that benefits you. I pulled the latest 2026 tax rankings from the Tax Foundation. I looked at retiree migration data from the Census Bureau and moving companies. I analyzed property tax rates from county records across the country. I reviewed pension taxation rules from every state's revenue department. I cross-referenced estate tax thresholds and rates. 5 states dominate every single category. These are where you legally minimize taxes and maximize what you've earned over a lifetime of work. Now I'm going to walk you through each of these 5 most tax-friendly states for retirement in 2026. For each state, I'll show you the specific tax advantages, quantify how much you'll save, explain the lifestyle and cost of living considerations, and compare it to high tax alternatives so you can see exactly what you're avoiding. State number 1 is Wyoming. Wyoming is the hidden champion of tax-friendly retirement states, and almost nobody talks about it. But when you run the numbers, Wyoming offers one of the most compelling tax situations in America for retirees. Wyoming has 0 state income tax, none. Not a reduced rate, not exemptions, 0. If you withdraw $50,000 from your 401k in Wyoming, you pay 0 state tax. Do that in California, you pay $5,000 in state tax. In New York, $4,000. In Massachusetts, $2,500. Over a 20-year retirement, that's $50,000 to $100,000 you keep by living in Wyoming instead of a high-tax state. Wyoming doesn't just skip income tax on wages. It has no tax on retirement income of any kind. Social Security benefits are completely untaxed. Pension income is completely untaxed. IRA and 401k distributions are completely untaxed. Investment income from dividends and capital gains is completely untaxed. For a retiree living entirely on fixed income and investments, Wyoming is tax paradise. Wyoming has no estate tax or inheritance tax. When you die, Wyoming takes nothing. Your heirs receive everything. Compare this to states like Washington or Oregon or Massachusetts, where estate taxes can claim 5 to 15% of estates over relatively low thresholds. On a $600,000 estate, that could be $30,000 to $90,000 taken by the state before your kids see a penny. Wyoming lets you pass on your full legacy. Property taxes in Wyoming are among the lowest in the nation. The average effective property tax rate across Wyoming is about 0.58%. Some counties are even lower. On a $400,000 home, you're paying around $2,300 annually in property taxes. Compare that to New Jersey, where you'd pay $12,000 to $18,000, or Illinois, where you'd pay $8,000 to $12,000. The savings over 20 years are astronomical, potentially $200,000 or more. The overall cost of living in Wyoming is reasonable considering the tax benefits. Yes, some items cost more because of remoteness and small population, but housing is generally affordable outside of tourist areas like Jackson Hole. Groceries and utilities run close to national averages, and the tax savings more than compensate for any slight premium on goods. Healthcare in Wyoming has improved significantly. Major cities like Cheyenne and Casper have good hospitals and medical facilities. You're not getting the density of specialists you'd find in Houston or Phoenix, but for most routine and urgent care, Wyoming delivers quality service. And if you need highly specialized treatment, you can travel to Denver or Salt Lake City, both within a few hours. The climate in Wyoming is not for everyone. Winters are cold. Some areas get significant snow. Elevation is high in many parts of the state, which some people struggle with initially. But if you choose your location carefully, perhaps in one of the lower elevation areas or the milder southeastern region, Wyoming can be quite livable. And many retirees discover they prefer 4 true seasons after decades in states with more moderate climates. Migration trends to Wyoming show steady growth in the retiree demographic, particularly wealthy retirees who understand the tax advantages. While Wyoming isn't seeing Florida-level floods of retirees, it's attracting sophisticated, financially savvy people who've done the math. This supports property values and ensures quality services remain available. Let me show you the comparison. You're 62 with $800,000 in retirement savings. You're choosing between staying in New Jersey, where you've lived for 30 years, or moving to Wyoming. In New Jersey, you'll pay $14,000 in property taxes annually. You'll pay state income tax on your retirement withdrawals, roughly $3,000 per year. Over 20 years, that's $280,000 in property taxes and $60,000 in state income taxes. In Wyoming, you pay $4,600 in property taxes annually and zero state income tax. Over 20 years, that's $92,000 in property taxes total. You just saved $248,000 by choosing Wyoming over New Jersey. That's a third of your total retirement savings staying in your pocket instead of going to state coffers. State number 2 is Florida. Florida is the classic tax-friendly retirement state, and it earns that reputation through an extremely favorable tax structure combined with excellent lifestyle and infrastructure for retirees. Florida has zero state income tax and has had it enshrined in the state constitution. Your Social Security is untaxed. Your pension is untaxed. Your IRA and 401k withdrawals are untaxed. Your investment income is untaxed. If you're living on $60,000 per year from various retirement sources and you're in Florida, you keep all $60,000. Move that same income to California and you're paying $4,000 to $5,000 in state tax. New York, similar. Massachusetts, similar. Over 20 years, that's $80,000 to $100,000 in savings. Florida has no estate tax or inheritance tax. When you pass away, the state of Florida takes nothing from your estate. Your heirs receive your full legacy without the state taking a cut. This is particularly important if you've built substantial wealth and want to pass it to the next generation. Property taxes in Florida are reasonable, especially when you factor in the homestead exemption. Once you establish Florida residency and claim homestead on your primary residence, you get up to $50,000 in assessed value exemption, and your annual increase in assessed value is capped at 3% no matter how much the market value rises. This creates tremendous long-term property tax stability. In many Florida counties popular with retirees, effective property tax rates run around 1% or slightly under. On a $400,000 home with homestead, you might pay $3,800 to $4,800 annually. That's far less than the Northeast or Midwest. The overall cost of living in Florida varies dramatically by location, but many retirement-heavy areas like parts of the Nature Coast, Central Florida, or the Panhandle offer very reasonable costs. You can live comfortably on $40,000 to $50,000 per year in many Florida communities. And the tax savings mean your fixed income stretches significantly further than it would in high-tax states. Healthcare infrastructure in Florida is world-class specifically because the state has such a large retiree population. Hospitals, medical centers, and specialist physicians are abundant. Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, Cleveland Clinic, Florida, Tampa General, Moffitt Cancer Center. South Florida has some of the best healthcare facilities in the nation. Medicare Advantage plans are highly competitive in Florida because of the huge market, which means better coverage at lower premiums. Climate in Florida is warm year-round, which many retirees consider ideal. No more snow, no more ice, no more $600 heating bills, no more dangerous falls on icy driveways. The warm climate isn't just pleasant, it's financially beneficial through lower utility costs and health beneficial through more outdoor activity and better outcomes for conditions like arthritis. Migration to Florida from retirees is the strongest in the nation. Over 1,000 people per day are moving to Florida, many of them retirees fleeing high-tax states. This constant demand supports property values and ensures strong resale markets. Your home in a good Florida community will maintain or grow in value because demand keeps exceeding supply. The infrastructure for retirees in Florida is unmatched. Hundreds of 55-plus communities, age-focused healthcare systems, social activities and clubs catering to seniors, entertainment and dining options. Everything is optimized for people over 55. Let me give you the numbers. You retire at 65 with $700,000 saved. You choose between Illinois, where you grew up, or Florida. In Illinois, your property taxes are $12,000 annually. State income tax on your retirement withdrawals is $3,000 annually. Over 25 years, that's $300,000 in property taxes and $75,000 in state income taxes. In Florida, your property taxes with homestead are $4,500 annually. State income tax is zero. Over 25 years, that's $112,500 in property taxes total. You save $262,500 by choosing Florida. That's over a third of your nest egg preserved. State number 3 is South Dakota. South Dakota is a massively underrated retirement tax haven that offers exceptional benefits, particularly for people with larger estates or complex financial situations. South Dakota has zero state income tax on all forms of income: wages, retirement benefits, Social Security, pensions, investment income, capital gains, all completely untaxed by the state. For retirees, this means every dollar from every source stays in your pocket. The state takes nothing from your fixed income. South Dakota has no estate tax or inheritance tax. When you die, South Dakota claims zero from your estate, no matter how large. This makes South Dakota particularly attractive for wealthy retirees with substantial assets they want to pass to heirs. Property taxes in South Dakota are remarkably low. The average effective property tax rate is around 1.2%, but in many areas popular with retirees, it runs even lower. On a $350,000 home, you might pay $3,500 to $4,200 annually. Over 20 years, that's $70,000 to $84,000 compared to $240,000 or more you'd pay in high property tax states. But here's where South Dakota gets really interesting for retirees with significant assets. South Dakota has some of the most favorable trust laws in America. If you establish a South Dakota Dynasty Trust, you can shield assets from federal estate taxes, protect wealth from creditors, and maintain control over how wealth is distributed to future generations. This is advanced estate planning, but for retirees with estates over a few $1,000,000, South Dakota's trust laws can save hundreds of thousands or even millions in taxes. The cost of living in South Dakota is very low. Housing is affordable. Utilities are reasonable. Groceries and services cost less than most of the country. You can live very comfortably on modest fixed income in South Dakota. $40,000 per year provides a very nice lifestyle in Sioux Falls or Rapid City. Healthcare in South Dakota, particularly in Sioux Falls, is better than most people expect. Sanford Health and Avra Health are large health systems with excellent facilities and specialists. Sioux Falls has become a regional medical hub serving patients from surrounding states. You have access to quality care without the waits and costs of larger metros. Climate in South Dakota is continental with real winters. It gets cold, it snows. This isn't for everyone, but many retirees from the northern Midwest actually prefer having 4 genuine seasons. And the cost savings are so substantial that you can easily afford to be a snowbird and spend January and February somewhere warm. Migration to South Dakota has been growing steadily, particularly among wealthy retirees and business owners who establish residency to take advantage of the tax benefits and trust laws. While the numbers aren't Florida level, the trend is clear and accelerating. Here's the financial picture. You're 60 with 1.2 million in assets. You're deciding between Connecticut, where you've always lived, or South Dakota. In Connecticut, you'll pay state income tax on retirement withdrawals, about $4,000 annually. Property taxes will run $15,000 annually on a modest home. Over 25 years, that's $100,000 in state income taxes and $375,000 in property taxes. When you die, Connecticut's estate tax could take $60,000 to $100,000 from your estate. Total cost, roughly $535,000 to $575,000. In South Dakota, you pay zero state income tax. Property taxes might be $4,000 annually or $100,000 over 25 years. Estate tax is zero. Total cost $100,000. You just saved $435,000 to $475,000 by choosing South Dakota. That's literally life-changing money. State number 4 is Tennessee. Tennessee has become one of the hottest retirement destinations in America, and the tax advantages are a major reason why. Tennessee eliminated its Hall tax on investment income in 2021, which means it now has zero state income tax on any form of income. Wages, Social Security, pensions, retirement account distributions, dividends, interest, capital gains, everything is completely state tax-free. For retirees, this is massive. Every dollar you withdraw from retirement accounts is yours to keep. Tennessee has no estate tax or inheritance tax. Your heirs receive your full estate without the state taking a percentage. This makes Tennessee attractive for legacy planning. Property taxes in Tennessee are among the lowest in the Southeast and very reasonable nationally. The average effective rate is around 0.6%. In many counties popular with retirees, rates run even lower. On a $350,000 home, you might pay $2,100 to $2,800 annually. Compare that to $10,000 to $15,000 you'd pay in New Jersey or New York for the same value home. The cost of living in Tennessee is substantially lower than most of the country, particularly in areas outside Nashville. Housing is affordable, utilities are reasonable, groceries cost less, your retirement dollars go much further. You can live comfortably on $45,000 per year in many Tennessee communities. Healthcare in Tennessee, especially around Nashville, is excellent. Vanderbilt University Medical Center is one of the premier hospitals in the nation. TriStar Health has facilities throughout the state. For most medical needs, Tennessee provides quality care, and Nashville specifically has become a healthcare hub with specialists in virtually every field. Climate in Tennessee offers 4 genuine seasons, but with far milder winters than the North. You get beautiful springs and falls. Summers are warm but manageable. Winters see occasional snow, but nothing like the brutal 6-month freezes of the upper Midwest or Northeast. Many retirees find Tennessee's climate ideal. Culture and lifestyle in Tennessee, particularly in Nashville and the surrounding areas, offer vibrant entertainment, dining, and social opportunities. Nashville has exploded as a destination city with restaurants, music venues, museums, and activities. You're not isolated in a retirement bubble. You can engage with a dynamic, growing city. Migration to Tennessee shows explosive growth in the retiree demographic. Tennessee consistently ranks in the top 5 states for inbound migration. Retirees from the Northeast and Midwest are moving there in huge numbers, attracted by taxes, climate, cost of living, and lifestyle. This demographic trend supports real estate values and ensures communities remain vibrant. Here's what it looks like financially. You're 63 with $650,000 saved. You're choosing between Maryland, where you've always lived, or Tennessee. In Maryland, state income tax on retirement withdrawals will cost you roughly $3,500 annually. Property taxes will be $6,500 to $8,500 annually. Over 20 years, that's $70,000 in state income tax and $130,000 to $170,000 in property taxes. In Tennessee, state income tax is zero. Property taxes might be $2,400 annually or $48,000 over 20 years. You saved $152,000 to $192,000 by choosing Tennessee. That's a quarter of your retirement savings preserved by making one smart move. State number 5 is Nevada. Nevada offers a unique combination of zero taxes, entertainment options, and growing retirement communities that make it increasingly attractive for retirees. Nevada has zero state income tax and has had it since statehood. Social Security, pensions, IRA distributions, investment income, all completely untaxed. Every dollar of retirement income is yours to keep. For retirees withdrawing $50,000 to $60,000 annually, this saves $4,000 to $6,000 per year compared to states with income tax. Over 25 years, that's $100,000 to $150,000. Nevada has no estate tax or inheritance tax. Your full estate passes to your heirs without the state taking anything. This is particularly valuable if you've accumulated significant wealth and want to leave a legacy. Property taxes in Nevada are very reasonable. The average effective rate is around 0.6%, with many areas running even lower. In the Las Vegas area, popular with retirees, rates often come in under 0.7%. On a $375,000 home, you might pay $2,600 annually. Over 20 years, that's $52,000 compared to the $200,000 plus you'd pay in high-tax states. Cost of living in Nevada varies by location. Las Vegas is very affordable for a major metro area. Housing costs are reasonable. Entertainment is abundant and often cheap or free. Food and utilities run close to or below national averages. Reno is slightly more expensive but still affordable. Your fixed income stretches well in Nevada. Healthcare in Nevada has improved dramatically, particularly in Las Vegas. Sunrise Hospital and Medical Center, University Medical Center, Cleveland Clinic, La Ruvo Center for Brain Health. The medical infrastructure has expanded significantly to serve the large and growing retiree population. Reno also has good facilities, including renowned regional medical center. Climate in Nevada is desert, which means hot summers but very mild winters. Las Vegas rarely sees freezing temperatures. Reno is higher elevation and slightly cooler, but still mild compared to northern states. For retirees tired of snow and ice, Nevada delivers sunshine and warmth without the humidity of Florida. Lifestyle in Nevada offers incredible variety. Las Vegas provides world-class entertainment, dining, shows, and activities. But there are also quiet, age-restricted communities where you can avoid the Strip entirely if you prefer peace. Reno offers outdoor recreation with proximity to Lake Tahoe. You can live as actively or quietly as you want. Migration to Nevada from retirees has been strong for decades and continues growing in 2026. The tax advantages combined with affordability and entertainment options keep attracting people. Property values in well-located communities have shown steady appreciation. Let me show you the financial comparison. You're 61 with $720,000 saved. You're choosing between Oregon, where you've lived your whole life, or Nevada. In Oregon, state income tax on retirement withdrawals will cost approximately $3,800 annually. Property taxes will be around $6,500 annually. Over 23 years until 84, that's $87,000 in state income tax and $150,000 in property taxes. In Nevada, State income tax is zero. Property taxes are about $2,800 annually, or $64,000 over 23 years. You saved $173,000 by moving to Nevada. Plus, you're in sunshine with no rain and endless entertainment options. Now let me address the high tax states you need to avoid if you want to protect your retirement nest egg. These states are actively hostile to retirees through their tax policies, and staying in them or moving to them is financial suicide. California is a tax nightmare for retirees. State income tax up to 13.3% on retirement withdrawals. Property taxes that are high on newly purchased homes. No deductions or exemptions for retirement income. Some localities even tax Social Security benefits indirectly through how they calculate taxable income. If you retire in California with typical retirement income, you could pay $6,000 to $8,000 annually in state income tax alone. Over 25 years, that's $150,000 to $200,000. Add in property taxes, and you're looking at massive wealth destruction. New York taxes retirement income aggressively. State income tax on pensions and distributions, high property taxes, especially in desirable areas. Estate taxes on estates over $6.58 million. The combined burden can easily exceed $15,000 annually for a typical retiree. Over a retirement, that's $375,000 or more transferred from your pocket to the state. New Jersey has the highest property taxes in America, plus state income tax on retirement income. Property taxes alone can run $15,000 to $25,000 annually. Add state income tax, and you're looking at $20,000 to $30,000 per year in total state and local taxes. Over 25 years, that's $500,000 to $750,000. That's an entire retirement nest egg destroyed by taxes. Illinois combines high property taxes with state income tax and a pension crisis that will force even higher taxes. Retirees are fleeing Illinois faster than almost any state. Property taxes of $10,000 to $15,000 annually plus $3,000 in state income tax equals $325,000 to $450,000 over 25 years. It's financial insanity to retire there. Connecticut rounds out the terrible five: high property taxes, state income tax on retirement income, estate taxes on estates over $12.92 million. The total burden easily exceeds $20,000 annually. Over a retirement, that's $500,000 or more gone to taxes. The 2026 data is brutal on these states. Retirees are fleeing by the tens of thousands. U-Haul trucks going out outnumber trucks coming in by huge margins. The exodus is accelerating, not slowing. These states are losing their tax base, which will force them to raise taxes even more, which will drive more people out. It's a death spiral, and you don't want to be caught in it. Now let me address timing and practical questions, because I know you're thinking about this. Why is 2026 specifically a good year to make this move? Interest rates have stabilized after the volatility of 2022 through 2024. Inventory in these tax-friendly states is good, with reasonable selection and prices that haven't spiked yet despite strong demand. The tax laws in these states are stable and unlikely to change dramatically. And most importantly, the states you're leaving are getting worse, not better. High tax states are raising rates and adding new taxes to cover budget shortfalls. The gap between tax-friendly and tax-hostile states is widening. Moving now locks in maximum savings. What if you're already in a high-tax state with substantial home equity? Run the numbers honestly. Calculate what you're currently paying annually in state income tax on retirement withdrawals plus property taxes. Compare that to what you'd pay in one of these 5 states. If the difference is $10,000 or more annually, which it likely is, you need to start planning your exit. Yes, selling involves transaction costs. Yes, moving is disruptive. But saving $150,000 to $300,000 over your retirement justifies the one-time costs and hassle. What about concerns that these tax-friendly states are too remote or lack culture? Wyoming might be remote depending on where you choose, but it's quiet and peaceful, which many retirees prefer. Florida, Tennessee, and Nevada all have major metro areas with extensive cultural and entertainment options. South Dakota has Sioux Falls, which is a very livable small city. You're not sacrificing lifestyle for tax savings. You're getting both. What about healthcare concerns? Every one of these states has at least adequate healthcare infrastructure, and most have excellent facilities in their major population centers. Florida's healthcare is world-class. Tennessee's is excellent in Nashville. Nevada's has improved dramatically in Las Vegas. South Dakota's Sioux Falls has regional medical centers. Wyoming is the only potential concern, but you're within a few hours of Denver or Salt Lake for specialized care. For 95% of medical needs, these states deliver quality care. What if you have family in high-tax states? Modern travel makes visiting easy and affordable. Many retirees find they actually see family more after they move because family wants to visit them in Florida or Nevada or Tennessee. And even if you fly back 4 times a year, the cost of those flights is a fraction of what you save in taxes annually. What about establishing residency? Each state has specific requirements, typically involving physical presence for a certain number of days, getting a driver's license, registering to vote, and establishing clear intent to make it your domicile. Work with a CPA or attorney who specializes in residency establishment to make sure you do it correctly. High-tax states will audit you if they suspect you're trying to avoid their taxes without truly moving. How do you choose between these 5 states? It depends on your priorities. If you want 0 taxes and don't mind cold winters, Wyoming or South Dakota. If you want warmth and extensive retiree infrastructure, Florida. If you want 4 seasons with culture and entertainment, Tennessee. If you want entertainment and variety with 0 taxes, Nevada. All 5 save you massive money. Pick based on climate and lifestyle preferences. Let me give you my final comprehensive guidance. Taxes are the single biggest controllable expense in retirement. You cannot control market returns. You cannot control healthcare costs entirely. You cannot control inflation, but you absolutely can control how much you pay in state taxes by choosing where you live. And the difference between a tax-friendly state and a tax-hostile state is hundreds of thousands of dollars over a normal retirement. Treat your retirement home purchase as a tax minimization strategy because that's exactly what it is. You're not just buying a place to live. You're making a financial decision that will impact every dollar you spend for the next 25 to 30 years. Buy in the wrong state and taxes drain your nest egg. Buy in the right state and you preserve wealth, enjoy life, and leave a legacy. Run the numbers for your specific situation. Calculate your expected retirement income from all sources. Look up the state income tax you'd pay in your current state versus these 5 states. Calculate property tax differences. Add it up over 20 or 25 years. The numbers will shock you. The savings are real and massive. Make the move sooner rather than later. Every year you delay is another year of paying unnecessary taxes. If you're 55 and planning to retire at 65, make the move at 60 or 62, not at 70. Establish yourself. Build a social network. Get familiar with local healthcare. Do it while you're healthy and energetic enough to handle the transition smoothly. Don't let emotion override mathematics. Yes, you might love your current state. Yes, you might have lived there your whole life. Yes, you might have friends there. But none of that changes the math. Staying costs you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Moving saves you hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's that simple. These 5 states, Wyoming, Florida, South Dakota, Tennessee, and Nevada, are not just tax-friendly. They're where 2026 data says retirees keep the most money and build the strongest legacy for their heirs. The tax advantages are clear, proven, and massive. Wyoming offers zero income tax, minimal property tax, no estate tax, and the lowest total tax burden in America for retirees. Florida combines zero income tax with excellent health care, warm climate, and unmatched retiree infrastructure. South Dakota provides zero income tax, low property tax, powerful trust laws, and underrated quality of life. Tennessee gives you zero income tax, low property tax, vibrant culture, and 4-season climate. Nevada delivers zero income tax, reasonable property tax, endless entertainment, and sunshine. Pick your state based on lifestyle, but make sure you pick one of these 5. The alternative is staying in a high-tax state and watching $200,000 to $500,000 evaporate over your retirement. That's not a small difference. That's the difference between financial security and running out of money. That's the difference between leaving an inheritance and leaving nothing. That's the difference between retiring comfortably and retiring stressed. You spent 40 years paying taxes to build your wealth. You worked, you saved, you sacrificed, you were disciplined. Retirement is when you finally get to stop. Don't volunteer to keep funding state governments that don't appreciate or need your money. Keep what you earned. Protect what you built. Live where taxes can't touch you. If you're done overpaying taxes and ready to keep your hard-earned money, smash that like button right now. Share this with every retiree you know, because this information could save them a fortune. Post it in your social groups. Send it to your siblings. Email it to friends who are planning retirement. Subscribe to this channel and become a member. Next video, we're diving into exact neighborhoods within these states, showing you specific tax calculators you can use, and giving you the step-by-step process for establishing residency correctly to lock in these savings. Leave a comment and tell me which of these 5 states appeals to you most. Have you already made the move to a tax-friendly state? What's holding you back if you haven't? Let's discuss it in the comments and help each other make the smartest financial decisions. Protect what you earned. Move to where taxes can't steal it. These 5 states are where your retirement money stays yours. Make the smart move in 2026. Your future self will thank you. Thank you for watching. And now go keep more of your money.